One of these days, he's going to learn to play that instrument. Man, good morning. Most of you know me as John, the worship leader guy, and many of you also know that one of my other jobs is as a lawyer. And splitting my vocational life between law and ministry is pretty crazy, and it's really taken a long time. It's really been a long journey to get here. But life is amazing when we follow God's will for our lives. And when I thought about this weekend, I thought about the fact that when I went to law school, it was with the idea that I was going to go into politics. And I thought about it being Independence Weekend, you know, where our country is celebrating where we came from. And I thought about those 50 politicians that gathered in Philadelphia July 4, 1776 to adopt the Declaration of Independence, a document that a Virginian had a great hand in drafting, Thomas Jefferson. And that document is the case for why America had to separate itself from Great Britain. And the heading on it, in fact, says, "The Unanimous Declaration of the 13 United States of America." And here's what it says. "When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with one another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. And so, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among them are life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and that to secure those rights, governments are instituted among men deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. And whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government. Laying its foundation upon these principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to effect their safety and their happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes, and accordingly all experience has shown that mankind is more disposed to suffer while evils are sufferable than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right and it is their duty to throw off that government and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of absolute tyranny over these states. And to prove this, let the facts be submitted to a candid world. He has refused to assent to laws the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people. He's called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant. Why? For the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. He has dissolved representative houses repeatedly, refused for a long time after doing so to cause others to be elected. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states. He's obstructed the administration of justice. He's made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices, the amount of payment of their salaries, and he has erected new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance, and he has kept us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of our legislature. He has effected to render the military independent of and superior to civil power, has combined with others to subject us to a jurisdiction foreign to our Constitution. He has quartered large bodies of armed troops among us. He has protected them by mock trial. He's cut off our trade with other parts of the world, imposed taxes on us without our consent. He's deprived us in many cases of the benefits of trial by jury. He has transported us beyond the seas to be tried for pretended offenses. He has abolished the free system of English laws in a neighboring province. He's taken away our charters, abolished our most valuable laws, suspended our legislatures, and has abdicated government here by declaring us out of his protection and waging war on us. He has plundered our seas, ravaged our coasts, burned our towns, destroyed the lives of our people, and at this time, he is transporting large armies of foreign mercenaries to complete the work of death, destruction, and tyranny already begun. He has constrained our fellow citizens taken captive on the high seas to bear arms against their country, to become the executioners of their friends and brethren, or to fall themselves by their hands. He has excited domestic insurrection, and in every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Nor have we been wanting in attention to our British brethren. We have warned them from time to time of their attempts by their legislature to extend unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have appealed to their native justice, but they have been deaf to the voice of justice, and we must therefore acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation and hold them as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, in peace, friends. We therefore, the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress assembled, appealing to the supreme judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do in the name and in the authority of the good people of these colonies solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British crown, that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states, we have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and do all acts and things which independent states may of right do. And for the support of this declaration, and with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. That is a fantastic declaration of freedom. That is where we come from. That is on what we were founded. That is independence in its highest form. And this weekend, we celebrate Independence Day. And throughout that document, there are numerous references to the need to be free in independent states, certain unalienable rights, including life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And from these beginnings have grown what I feel is the greatest country in the world that provides us as Americans the greatest opportunity that most countries just can look at and envy. And from this has developed the American principle of personal independence and freedom. We champion that we can function on our own. Less government, more me. I decide. I choose my path. I paint my future. The American script, our script, is that of independence.